Thank you very much. So I'd like to welcome you all to our first 2012-2013 NT Talks. As you know, NT Talks is a great program that was launched last year, and we'll be having 3 more speakers over the course of this year. But this is where we try and bring back successful NT grads from all over the world to share with you their experiences. It is my distinct pleasure today to welcome Pete Bombaci. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. So, Pete is a graduate of political science and economics from the University of Western Ontario. But first and most importantly, he is a graduate of North Toronto, back when mustaches... I won't tell you when, but at the time, mustaches would have been a regular occurrence. So, his current role is as head mustache farmer, or as it is more formally known, National Director at Movember Canada. Prior to joining Movember Canada, Pete had an impressive history of leadership in brand marketing and marketing at Molson Coors, Canada. Many of you may know what Movember is all about and the strong campaign that's led by our BAA, but for those of you who don't, I just want to tell you a little bit about it before we get started. Movember is an annual campaign whose goal is to change the face of men's health around the world. It initially began with a focus on raising funds for research and awareness of prostate cancer. Last year, over 850,000 Mobros and importantly sisters around the world got involved and were successful in raising over $125 million for research. This year, I was very excited to learn that Movember has added a dual focus to their campaign, which also includes men's mental health. So it should be a fantastic campaign this year, and we'll be looking for everybody to come join us in our efforts in November. We're lucky to have Pete joining us today, so without further ado, I'd like to give another warm welcome to Pete Bombaci.
Hi, everybody. I should say hello, Mo Bros and Mo Sisters, because that's ultimately what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Ian, thank you very much for that introduction. Very kind. And I got to say, guys, it is absolutely awesome to be back at this school and certainly to see what the school looks like today, because I can tell you in 1980 when I started in grade 9 and in 1985 when I finished, it didn't look anything like this. So it's really cool to see. We're going to try and work through this presentation. They're clicking up here, so hopefully it'll go smoothly. On to the next slide. There we go. So as Ian was kind enough to introduce me, I was here. I graduated in 1985. My email and phone number are there if anybody has any questions after this presentation. And you can certainly tweet at me if you want to tweet, because social media is what the world is about. And this campaign happens because of people like you spreading the message about taking care of other people and taking care of your health. Why am I here? Well, because it's obvious that North Toronto rocks. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I did when I was at North Toronto, and I hope that knowing that you guys we're online, so people are Skyping me in, so hopefully my mom doesn't Skype me while I'm up here. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what happened after I left North Toronto, why I believe that post-secondary education is important, but probably not for the reasons that you have heard, or at least what I think now, because there's something that's even more important than post-secondary education that we'll talk about. And I'm going to give you my top 10. I figured top 10, everybody, tune in on that one. Important habits as you move forward in life that I think I picked up, and things that nobody taught me when I was in school, and I hope they come in handy for you. And then I'm just going to ask for a hands up at this point was who's going to grow a Mo or support Movember this year. Can I see a round of hands? And most sisters, you got to be out there. How can nobody not? Everybody has to raise up their hand at this point. When the speaker says, put your hand up, you got to put. Most sisters are key. All right. We'll get back to that. Hopefully by the end of this, everybody will put their hand up. All right. North Toronto rocks. I think we got to click. So when I was here, I played a lot of sports because I think that sports is so important. And when I hire people, I look for people who have sports and who've participated in things in sports, because I think it builds teamwork. It learns how to build relationships. The number one thing that you guys are going to need to learn as you move forward coming out of school, and hopefully you've been doing it over the last 4 years since you've been here, is learning how to meet people, how to build relationships, because that's going to be an important part of life as you move forward. The smartest kid in the room is not always the person I'm going to hire, because if you're smart but you can't get along with people or you can't build great relationships, that's not as valuable to me as somebody who has that fine balance. So sports was a big one. Number 2, I couldn't find a picture of myself playing an instrument at North Toronto, so I found another NT grad, Jim Cuddy from Blue Rodeo. Music was also a very important part of my life here at North Toronto, and I hope everybody's had an opportunity to, whether it's in music, whether it's in sports, or finally on the next slide is, and these are some funny shots. Figured you might not find the humor in them, but that was the student council of 1985. I was the president of the BAA. I have no idea why my shirt was off in the picture. But the good news is our president had his shirt off in the picture as well. So I'm not sure what the theme was to that student council. But we were the first guys, actually. I painter caps, like in printed North Toronto stuff, like sweatpants and T-shirts. I think we might have been the first year that started, and that was a big risk. And I caused a political uproar because I had invested money to buy, but we made money in the end. So we took a few risks, but we had a lot of fun. So I hope that everybody in the time that you've had at North Toronto took advantage of this amazing school, now this amazing facility. It wasn't so amazing when I was here. It was still the pride was here. That was the important thing. I'm not trying to. But honestly, I hope everybody's. And I had to throw this one up here. This is my grad picture from grade 13, and it's very clear I was being myself. At the end of the day, you know what? You're going to be several different people from the day you graduate from North Toronto to the point that you become as old as I am, which is many years later. So the important thing as you move forward is just be yourself and don't try to be anybody that you're not, because being open and honest and living with integrity is an important part, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. So that's enough of the humor for the day, because enough bad, cheesy pictures of me. So I went to Laurier and then went to Western, graduated with a poli-sci and echo degree. I only talk about the echo was a minor, but poli-sci was the major. Worked in retail. I did bartending jobs. I managed bars. I worked as a sales rep selling wine and alcohol. Then I went into the beer business as a marketer. Started up a consulting business, and then became the chief mustache farmer at Movember Canada. And I throw that whole thing up there, which is about 20 years worth of experience. And I think that's probably a big word for everybody to pick up, especially as you're graduating this year. You know, getting experiences in any way you can, whether it's through volunteer work, whether it's through jobs, whether it's through people you meet. You're building your toolkit, which is what will see you be successful as you move forward. If you've only focused on one thing, you don't have hobbies, you don't have other things that are in your life, it really restricts you from what your opportunities become down the road. So I encourage you to fill up your toolbox with all the possible skills you could possibly find out there. Anything that you think is interesting, I think is something that you want to spend some time learning and doing, because I think that's what's going to put you in a good place as you move forward. So post-secondary education, I think it's really important, but it's not about, you need the piece of paper, but it's not about the degree, because honestly, I couldn't even tell you what classes I took when I was at school. And that wasn't because I was on some type of substance that made me forget. It was because, in actual fact, when you're 10 years out of school, it's not about what you took. It's about learning to learn. It's about learning to, when somebody challenges, whether it's with an essay, with a test, whatever the case may be, that you know how to focus. You know how to actually take the time and set yourself aside. And we all have, I'm sure everybody here has had many a parties as your journey through North Toronto and as you're going to university, times when you're, having a lot of fun and doing a lot of great things. But the most important thing is when somebody says to you, hey, I need you to do this, that's when you need to be able to focus. So university for me, and it is an extension of North Toronto, is really about learning how to learn. So keep that in mind. It's important. People are looking for college diplomas, university degrees, whatever the case may be. You got to do it if you can, but it's not about just getting that. It's about learning the skills of how to learn while you're there. Learn a skill, if you're going to be in a professional, whether it's a trade, whether it's a plumber, whether it's an electrician, whether it's a doctor, lawyer, whatever it is, choose the right avenue. It might be college, it might be university, whatever the case may be, but be specific and understand what your goal is as you move forward, and that may change, and that's okay. But again, you're just filling up your toolbox with skills and different things like that. Continue to build your network of friends. At the end of the day, you're going to hear this consistently through my presentation, it's about friends, it's about networks, it's about relationships. And the more people and the better you can become at actually creating those types of networks and friendships are the things that are going to stand with you, both on a personal level as you move forward and then also on a professional level. Because a lot of the business is done today, we always hear about people doing business on golf courses and stuff. It's truth. People want to spend time and do business with people that they like. When was the last time you went out of your way to help somebody that you didn't like? When you actually like people, or when they like you, that's when they're going to go out of their way to help you. So keep that in mind. And then finally, the one thing for me that I probably picked up since I left North Toronto is it took me a while to get here, but was somehow take a course, whether it's at university, whether you do it outside, is learn how to run a small business. Because I think one of the most important things, especially in the world that we're in today, we see people being laid off in all different types of industries, that if you're the innovative type, if you're the person who can take the bull by the horns and create something that you're passionate about, then if you know how to run a small business, that's when you become the executive and the person who's directing. And if we go to the next slide and then actually to the following slide in regards to why learning that small business, those skills is so important, is because at the end of the day, as you move forward, the number one thing that people are going to look for in you is passion. When I hire people, I want 51% personality and 49% skill. I can always train you how to do your job better. I can spend time with you. I can send you to courses. I can do anything. What I can't train you to do is to get up in the morning with a smile on your face, with a hop in your step, and with an energy to come in and do what you do. And not everybody, and I've been in jobs, obviously being in the beverage alcohol business, I really enjoyed what I did. There's going to be jobs out there where you're not going to enjoy waking up every day and doing it, but you actually got to take that attitude and you got to put it in there. There's a great book out there, if you get a chance. It's by Gary Vaynerchuk. It's called Crush It. And Gary tells this great story, or this analogy to this, which was, if you love the Smurfs and you're really passionate about the Smurfs, I guarantee you that there are other people in the world that are passionate about the Smurfs. So if you start blog it up, go crazy, sell items on there. If you take something that you're really passionate about in this world, with the size of the world and with social media and websites, you can turn just about anything into a business. But you can't do it unless you have that. So keep focusing on what is it that you're really passionate about. I have a few nephews that I always ask them that question, guys, what are you passionate about? And right now, they can't tell me. And I think that's, for me, my biggest challenge to them is always keep telling me, or keep thinking about what you're going to tell me your passion is. Because until you know what your passion is in life, that's when you're going to continue to look around. And it's okay to continue to have those thoughts, especially at your age, but keep trying to hone in on what is it that you really love to do. Is it people? Is it technology? Is it, engineering? If you can find something that you're really passionate at, that's when you're going to be your best, you're going to love what you do, and going to work every day isn't going to feel like going to work every day. So Pete's top 10 most important habits. You know what? This is really just a culmination of things that I've thought of as I've been thinking about this presentation over the last few weeks. So number one, love your parents. I know that's probably going to be a challenge for some people in the room, but honestly, I lost my dad at 12 of a heart attack, and you'll never realize just how much you miss your parents until you don't have them. So love your parents, because they really do care about everything that you do, and they want to make sure that you get the best. Respect your elders. Certainly the teachers at North Toronto, and there's unfortunately Mr. Wilson, who was one of my football coaches, passed away as well of a heart attack a few years ago. Was probably one of the most inspiring people, because I didn't have a dad who actually had an impact on my life. And I think if you embrace those that are older who are trying to teach you the lessons, I think you can learn a lot of great things from people that are older than you. Say bless you. I know that's a simple one. Just say bless you when people sneeze. Really simple. People will appreciate it, and they'll actually think of you differently because you actually make the effort to be polite. Bless you. I know you're just doing it. Volunteer your time. You will never feel more valuable in this world You can make millions of dollars. You can do anything you want. You can have all the toys in the world. At the end of the day, you'll never feel more valuable about yourself than when you volunteer. And the one challenging thing, and a buddy of mine who started up an organization called the Framework Foundation realized that the toughest thing is always that first step into volunteering. So whether it's through the school, whether it's through, frankly, call me, I'll find you a volunteer opportunity if you're looking for a volunteer opportunity. We can find you something within Movember, but this group called Framework Foundation, they have hundreds of organizations, and they specifically say what the organization is looking for. They might be looking to pack boxes, marketing skills, writing letters, PR. So again, that might tie into your passion, but find something that you can volunteer for because you'll never feel better. Exercise 30 minutes a day. There's research out there right now that says that you will reduce your risk of serious disease by over 20% by exercising for 30 minutes a day. And for the guys in the crowd like myself, I always thought exercising meant I had to go, pump like 250 pounds on the bench press. This means walking. This means, getting on the treadmill. This means getting on the bike. It doesn't mean you have to be insane. This just means get out and be active. And if I told you today that you'd be 20% less likely to die tomorrow if you went out and walked for 30 minutes, I'm pretty sure everybody in this room would get out and start walking right now. So just keep that in mind, a simple thing. Write down your life to-dos. I often find as I go through life, I go, God, I got to do that. That'd be great. I'd want to go travel there. I want to meet this person. I want to do this. I want to learn that. All those things. Write them down and share them with the people you love. Because the people that you love and your friends are the ones that when you both happen to have that same list, you're going to look at each other and go, hey, I want to do that too. And all of a sudden, you're going to plan a trip. You're going to do this. You're going to take a course. And all of a sudden, you're going to end up having a great life experience. Anna Wieson's online, by the way. Kill with kindness. Anytime you get into a situation where things aren't going the way you want or somebody's not treating you the way you want, kill them with kindness. You'll never win by fighting in this world. I've seen lots of people try to do it, and at the end of the day, I can assure you, you'll always get much further ahead by being kind. Stand up for what you believe in. At times it's challenging in life to stand up for what you believe in because some people may question, you're not falling in line with everybody else. But at the end of the day, you're the person who has to live with what the final results are and what you believe in. So stand up for it. Live with integrity. My dad, I did something wrong when I was a little kid, obviously, before he died. I changed the price tag on an item. I'm coming clean on this right now. I changed the price tag on an item at the Young Eglinton Center. It used to be a place called Horizons before it was Eaton's, and now it's Toys R Us, and they caught me. Yowza. Dad wasn't happy with me. Dad walked up the stairs. My mom still lives on Millwood Road down at Davisville and Young. My dad walked up to the stairs to my bedroom on the third floor. The stairs were creaking all the way up, and I swear to God, he extra creaked that night. He walked all the way up to the top of the stairs, and he said, son, there's only one thing in your life that you're going to get to carry with you everywhere you go, and nobody else can do anything with it other than you, and that's your reputation. So just keep that in mind. Walk around, be good, and be full of integrity, because at the end of the day, you're the only person who's responsible for your own integrity. And try and be a good person every day. I think that's common sense. And, we all mix it up once in a while, and we do things that we probably shouldn't be doing, but just try and always re-guide yourself back onto the most important thing, which is being a good person. All right, so now we're going to talk about a little bit of Movember. So that's where I've come from. I got to Movember, probably the greatest job on the face of this earth, which is I am paid to get people to grow mustaches. Who knew that could actually be a career? As I said earlier, I had no idea where I was going, and here's where I ended up. So what's Movember what Movember is all about? What can you do, and are you ready to make a difference and join the journey? In 2011, Canada was the number one country in the world, thanks to Mo Bros and Mo Sisters like you guys in this room. We raised $42 million out of that 125 that Ian referenced earlier. So thank you, everybody. And the amazing thing about this campaign is, the team at Movember Canada, we guide this campaign, but it's really through efforts like your mustache drive, which started today, and thank you for everybody who wore their mustaches today. They look awesome. It's these little things that make all the difference in the world, and it's the mustache that creates great conversations. It's these conversations that are truly changing the face of men's health and are getting people at your age even talking about their health. And you guys are in a very special situation. As Ian mentioned, we're adding men's mental health onto the causes that we're funding out of this year's campaign. You know, mental health is a huge issue across Canada. We've seen it at universities. We've seen it in the NHL. We've seen it in many places. And it's important for us to start talking. And what the great thing is the mustache is our walking and talking billboard. When you're standing there, and you guys have a great opportunity because your parents, when it comes to prostate cancer, your parents are probably in the zone, your father, your uncles, your grandparents. So you should be going home, hopefully tonight or over the course of the campaign, over the Movember campaign, and having those conversations with your parents just to let them know that you're thinking about them. Because as we move into this year's campaign, which is called Movember and Sons, this really is the year where it's about the passing of knowledge from parents to their kids, to their, whatever age group you're at. It's about having those conversations because you teach your parents a lot. Obviously, they're not hip and cool like they used to be. You guys are the hip and cool kids now. So you pass the knowledge up to them of what's hip and cool and try and keep them connected. And they're passing down to you the experiences that they have from their experience of many years ahead of you. So those conversations caused by the mustache, both for the cause of prostate cancer and for mental health, are critical. And as a result, hopefully we'll be able to raise more awareness. And frankly, the money is almost secondary. It's really about the awareness, because men, for the guys in the crowd, and I'm sure the girls in the crowd understand this, we're not very good about talking about our emotions. I'm going to just say that out there. We're not good about talking about our health. We're not good about talking about our emotions. And we got to start helping change that. The female community tends to be better because they go through childbirth. They go through annual checkups that, they have an ongoing thing. Guys, let me tell you, when you graduate from school, don't walk away from your family doctor. Continue to have your regular checkups, because catching things early and creating those conversations are critical, and that's what a big part of Movember is all about. Now, I don't want to leave out the Mo Sisters, because the Mo Sisters are very important to this campaign. Because any guy who's growing a mustache, what a Mo Sister says to him can either make that mustache disappear instantaneously, or B, he can really realize how proud he is to rock that Mo. Because at the end of the day, if a Mo Sister says in that first week when guys' mustaches look really cheesy, if you just walk up to a guy you know is growing a Movember mustache and you say, hey, that's a great looking mustache and it's awesome that you're supporting the cause. It's amazing how that guy will walk away like he's on cloud 9, a little higher step, like he knows what he's doing. So Mo Sisters play a critical role in supporting this whole campaign, no different than Mo Bros supporting Mo Sisters, whether it be in breast cancer or other issues. This whole campaign was inspired by the women's health movement. And we just wanted to make sure that we didn't forget about us, because we certainly hope that we can live as long as women as we move forward. Hopefully everybody coming out of today will go to Movember.com and register. I know Ian said he registered today. I'm not sure if there's a Team North Toronto or what the case is, but whatever you do, go to Movember.com, register your face. Whether you're a Mo Bro or Mo Sister, you register independently, and you can join teams, you can join networks and things like that. I guess we didn't get the picture back of the campaign creative, but let me finish off with two things. First off, knowledge is power is part of our theme for this year, but the mustache is king. So keep those lines there. And I'm going to finish off with a quote that I think is really important to everybody in this room, and I think it's something that each of you as your own individual self can make a difference in this world, whether it's on your own or as a group. And it's a quote by Margaret Mead, which says, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." You guys, you're about to embark on the rest of your life, and this school is probably one of the greatest schools in this country. It's respected from coast to coast. You'll find people that when they hear North Toronto, they'll always have positive feedback of people that they've met coming from this school. So you're lucky to have gone here. Don't miss the opportunity. Leverage the connection to the school. Always come back. I love coming back and attending events with my alumni. My closest friends are still the people that I went to North Toronto with. So thank you for your time today, and really great to come back to this school. You guys are awesome.